I'm good with the cards. I could have been a lover, breaking others' hearts. And I feel so silly, betting on the dice. And a lover seldom see the same girl twice. And that is why, oh, that's why I chose to sing the blues. Yes, I did. I could have been a...
Welcome to the Man Cave Cigar Lounge, live from the poker table. We're here tonight with Trey Andrews from Carrillo Cigar Company. EPC is one of my favorite cigar lines. They have a great product from the East Stunner to the La Historia, a bunch of great cigars. And Trey is here tonight to talk to us about the La Historia, which was the #2 cigar of the year this year in Cigar Aficionado magazine. And it is a huge seller. We sell them by the boxes here rapidly when they come in. So would you like to tell us a little bit about that and how that cigar came into existence?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start with the history of the cigar itself. La Historia, he named it that because he wants to pay homage to his family. So when you see most of the EP Carrillo cigars, it'll say EPC or Ernesto Perez-Carrillo. When you look at this one on the band, it doesn't say Ernesto, it says Perez-Carrillo. So a lot of people don't realize that, they've never noticed that, but that he did that on purpose because he's paying homage to his heritage and his family. And on one side it's got a picture of his mother, and the other side's got a picture of his grandmother. And so that's the foundation for this cigar and why he put his heart and soul into it, which obviously reflected in the #2 rating. You know, getting a 95 in Cigar Aficionado is a pretty legit rating.
Absolutely.
The blend itself is a San Andrean Mexican wrapper, which is the same wrapper that's on the Padron Anniversary Series, which is one of the best cigars on earth, in my opinion. It's got a Ecuadorian Sumatra binder and a Nicaraguan blend filler. And so the wrapper tobacco tends to have a little bit of a spice to it. And then you put that Ecuadorian Sumatra binder in there, and it's got a little hint of sweetness. So it kind of offsets each other, but it's got an extremely smooth taste and flavor, and the strength itself is more of a medium body. You look at it, and a lot of people kind of shy away because they think it's going to be a really strong cigar, but it's really not. It's super smooth. I like to tell people that I think Ernesto is the king of the medium-bodied cigar. And this is, I mean, this is a prime example.
Well, and you know, that's such a misconception in the cigar world. You see a dark cigar, it's too heavy, it's too strong, I can't do it, I'm going to walk around like I just smoked 10 packs of cigarettes. And that's not the case. A lot of Maduros are very light bodied. There's Connecticut shades that are much stronger than...
I actually have a lot of people that are beginning smokers or Connecticut fans that I get them to try one of these cigars, and it really surprises them that it's not overpowering, and they can enjoy it just as much, if not more so, than most of the Connectics they started out with.
Awesome. So there's a new line that's coming out, the Historia.
Correct.
Was that released at IPCPR?
Yeah, we just released it in July at the show.
All right, you want to tell us a little bit about that cigar?
Absolutely.
We've got the box out. We'll have that in the shop here shortly.
We are expecting some really big things with this cigar. It's got the same San Andrean wrapper, but it's been fermented a little bit longer to make it an Oscuro, which Oscuro, all that means is that it's a Maduro-type tobacco that's been aged longer. Some people ferment it longer, some people let it age afterwards longer. It just depends on how you do it. Ours is a fermentation process. And it's got a Nicaraguan and Dominican binder and filler. It's a little bit stronger in profile than the La Historia, but it's still not full-bodied. Like I said, he doesn't do much on the full-bodied end of the spectrum, but it's a very good cigar. It's beautiful. It's oily black, kind of reminiscent of the Liga Privada cigars by Drew Estate. The band's black and gold. It really offsets it, and I've had a handful of my retailers tell me they thought I was in their top 3 cigars of the show.
Really? That's a strong thing there with all the new releases this year. Let's talk a little bit about EPC and how because they were part of one and reformed or...
Right. When Ernesto first started out, you know, he's Cuban born, Cuban bred. His dad was in the tobacco industry and making cigars, and his dream was to be a jazz musician, a drummer. And he moved to New York thinking he was going to make his mark doing that. And you know, he had moderate success, but not what he was hoping for. So he moved back and started making cigars with his dad. They lived in Miami. And he started his own company. Actually did two of them. One was El Rico Habano, and the other one was La Gloria Cabana. Most people don't know much about El Rico, but La Gloria Cabana it's a huge brand.
Absolutely.
That cigar is considered to be the original boutique cigar. A lot of people call him the godfather of boutique cigars. He doesn't really like that very much. So I try not to mention it too much when he's around because I like my job. But he started that company, and Cigar Aficionado, when they first came out, they highlighted La Gloria Cabana, and they really helped to publicize it and market that brand, and it made him an overnight sensation. And in 1999, he sold to General Cigars and had a 10-year non-compete, and he worked for General during that time frame. And in 2009, his son and his daughter approached him about starting another company again. And so he went into business with his two kids, which is every man's dream, is to have a company
Absolutely.
or a business that you can pass down to your kids. And they began with Ernesto Perez-Carrillo's brand, EP Carrillo. And he's had a lot of success throughout the last 6 years, and he's had multiple cigars in the top 25, but this one was the crown jewel at number 2.
Yeah, and I would have to say that, like you said about him putting his heart and soul into that cigar, it's got to be a wonderful thing for him to get a cigar that he's put so much work and effort into
Right.
it. It's a great flagship for the company,
Absolutely.
but to get that on the cigar that he worked so hard for, it's got to be a
Absolutely.
wonderful thing. So does his son and daughter, which his daughter is Lisette, which is a very popular entity in the cigar world, which she should be at Smoke on the Water, our event in April.
She will absolutely be there.
And hopefully we will have some time to do an interview with her for YouTube as well. But how much do the kids, and for lack of a better, for his kids, how much into the cigars do they do? Are they mostly on the administrative side, or do they do any of the blending?
To start with, his son Ernie is actually he's very behind the scenes. He doesn't do much with the company anymore. He still helps a little bit with marketing. Lisette runs the business side, so everything that is done from Miami and throughout the country is her. Ernesto runs the factory, does most of the blending. Both of his kids did help with some of the blends, and they did put some input into it, and they both have spent plenty of time there, so they do know the business from the ground up. The E-Stunner is actually one that they both helped with and helped launch, and I currently don't have a national sales manager, so I work directly for Lisette. So she really is, even though Ernesto is the face of the company, she is the heart and soul of it.
EPC Carrillo Cigars, we love them here at the shop. Trey is a godsend. We love him as a rep. If it hadn't been for, having great reps with cigar companies, it would be very difficult. Cigar company called me yesterday and asked me if I carried a certain brand. I won't mention it. And I was like, no. And they're like, well, do you carry this? And I was like, no. And they said, well, what about this? And I was like, I've never even heard of that. And he was like, oh, okay, thanks, bye. I was like, okay, what a rep.
Awesome.
At least say, hey, we'd like to come in and see you. I don't
Well,
know what that was about.
I do appreciate the compliment, but at the same time, you guys have also been phenomenal to me personally and to my company, and dealing with retailers such as you guys really makes it easier for us too. So I appreciate everything you guys have done for us also.
It's real easy. You come in, give me some money. You kind of threaten us a little bit. We give you some money, and then you smoke cigars with us.
It's a good life.
Poor Cody. Awesome. Well, please come into the shop. If Trey's here, sit down, have a conversation. He loves to just hang out with us. But whether it's the Cardinal, the new Oscuro that's coming out, the La Historia, the East Stunner, all of the EPC brands are absolutely delicious. Again, Trey, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Man Cave Cigar Lounge, live from the poker table. We'll see y'all next time.